Hello. For the past few years, I have been lucky enough to attend the UK Games Expo in Birmingham, and it has been absolutely fantastic. It is one of the biggest conventions in this country for tabletop gaming, and it covers everything from board games to role-playing games, card games, game books, absolutely everything you can imagine, including miniature gaming, is present at the UK Games Expo. And this year I'll be going again, and I cannot wait. But I wanted to find a way to make sure that I got the most out of this year's event. Now, this event is massive. Last year, there were 4 halls that featured open play, stalls from vendors, game libraries, bring and buy sales, shops, all kinds of stuff. Absolutely loads of stuff to do. And that was just inside the main halls. And this year, they have promised that it's going to be even bigger. I believe there's something like 5 or 6 halls this year. So there will be way more stuff. Now, a lot of folks will just tell you that the best way to have some fun and to win at an event like this is to go along and just enjoy yourself. Just see what's there and sample some stuff, make some friends, and just, generally have a nice time. Or some people would say that you could win by entering the amazing Duncan Rhodes Painting Masters painting competition, or one of the many tournaments that are going to be run there. But I think maybe there's another way I can win, and I'm going to tell you all about it. And yes, I know winning is not the main purpose of a convention, but well, this year, I'm going to win the whole thing. I'm Jordan, this is Jordan Sorcery, and today I'm talking about what I'm going to be getting up to and how I'm going to win UK Games Expo 2026. Listen, I am not being totally serious about this. I'm not a really competitive person, but I did think that this year I would like to try something a little bit different at the Games Expo. There is genuinely so much stuff to do, so many things you can partake of, and people to see, that it is easy to just get in there and get lost and have an amazing time. Even 3 days doesn't feel like enough time to do everything. So I wanted to make sure that this year I actually have a sort of checklist, a kind of target, an objective that I can complete across my entire time at the convention so that I can make sure I feel like I have done the most with it. And that is why I have created a UK Games Expo 2026 Bingo Card. There are 25 separate things on the bingo card. Most of them are pretty simple, pretty easy to understand, and very easy to complete. This is about having fun rather than getting stressed. So how am I intending to actually complete this bingo card? Well, there are a couple of rules that I want to put in place. One is that the same event, the same thing, can only tick off one box. So playing a role-playing game might tick off the play a role-playing game box, but can't also tick off the play a game box. I'm going to try and complete the entire bingo card. I'm not just going for lines or columns. I want the whole thing at this event. So that is why I'm going to be trying my darndest over those 3 days to really fill it with absolutely everything I can. And I also have made sure that the bingo card is very much open to interpretation. So there are more ways than one to tick off pretty much every single box. It is possible for me to do these by doing very many different things and still feeling confident that, yes, you know what, that does represent exactly this. I have managed to consume something blue, and it could be absolutely anything. It could be a drink, it could be some food, it could be in a game, consume a token. If that token is blue, then there we go, I've done it. That is my broad plan. But what exactly am I going to do, sort of specifically, to try and tick off some of these? Well, I'm going to talk you through just a handful of my plans, and we're going to go to a different camera in order to do that, because I'm going to take you online and we're going to take a look at some of the stuff that we know is going to be at UK Games Expo, and I'm going to try and match it to a couple of the things that I want to make sure I do whilst I'm there. Okay, so this is the actual Games Expo website. As you can see, there are 21 days to go at time of recording, Friday 29th of May to Sunday 31st of May. It really isn't far away, like 3 weeks from now, and I am so excited. The website has got a whole load of stuff on here, and we're going to tick through some of these. Now, there is stuff like win something, learn something, read something, I think that those are going to happen pretty organically whilst we're there. But stuff like taking a photo with a legend, well, there's lots of different ways that I could actually manage to achieve that. That could be getting a photo with a cosplay character who's playing as someone legendary, a legendary figure, or it could be someone legendary from the actual history of gaming. Now, I know for a fact that Sir Ian Livingstone is going to be present. I'm trying to think, I've met him a couple of times now, and it's been awesome every single time, but I don't know if I've taken a photo with him. So that kind of feels like that might be an appropriate thing for me to potentially do, if he's open to it, of course. Never know. He might not want to take a photo with me, so we'll see. But for other stuff on the website, you can see that there's loads of different things. I mean, you can take a look at the exhibitor listings. There is an absolute ton of folks who are going to be there. Another way that you can win, by the way, is there's a £1,000 giveaway, which sounds very fun. I believe it's every single day you can win £1,000 worth of credit to spend across the entire Games Expo, which does sound like it would be pretty amazing given all of the different people who are going to be there, all of the different companies and stalls. That I'm not going to pin my hopes to that one for winning, but it would be pretty cool. I've got make sure that I pick up a bargain. Now, that might be you could cheat on that. Not cheat. The whole point is it's open to interpretation, but you could do that by literally just picking up something that is a bargain. But I'm thinking, given over the last couple of years that I've been able to find some pretty amazing classic Games Workshop stuff in the bring and buy, that is going to be a big target for me. I know that there's a huge queue every single time because there are so many folks bringing so many things, but I'm going to try and get into the bring and buy. I'm going to try and make the most of that because I love the retro stuff. So that is really fantastic. There are a couple of different vendors who tend to be there with lots of retro stuff on their stalls as well. I think I talked last year about one of the different vendors, Seventh City Collectibles, I think it was, who had these bins of just metal and plastic miniatures. Not all Citadel, there were lots of different miniatures in there, but essentially if you were willing to risk your hands by putting them into these bins, saw style, full of halberds and swords and all sorts on these metal miniatures, and sort of shift through, you could find some absolutely incredible retro stuff. Some of it broken, some of it pre-painted, some of it needed stripping, but absolutely awesome stuff. I got some amazing classic Beastmen and some classic Chaos Sorcerers and some other awesome stuff from that. So fingers crossed something of that nature is there again, because there are absolute bargains to be found through that kind of thing. But just looking at this sort of number of different vendors, there really are so many. Asmodee are going to be there. I know a lot of the indies are the really cool places to be, but Asmodee were really fun last year. They had some really cool stuff. I'm hoping that we might see some more HeroQuest stuff, and maybe I'll be able to go and see that with those guys, the Avalon Hill team. So I do have on the list to make sure that I play all of these different types of games, one of which being a miniatures game, of course. I really, really want to make sure I do this one. I think that this should be pretty easy because there's going to be a lot of amazing miniatures games there. But I have reached out to Goblin King Games, the makers of Moonstone, to see if we can have a proper little game on one of the evenings. I absolutely love Moonstone, and this year is its 10th anniversary. So getting an excuse to just meet up with the team and play some of the game, I think that would be really fun. Their miniatures are so good, and the paint jobs are absolutely awesome. So being able to play with some of their actual miniatures, that would be really, really fun too. So that's how I want to make sure I play a miniatures game. But then I've also, on the miniatures front, got a little plan in mind, because one of my favourite sculptors, Adam Clark, is there with his Black Scorpion miniatures, and they are truly amazing. So Adam Clark used to work at Games Workshop, made a load of Citadel miniatures, some really awesome stuff. And he has got his own independent miniature company, Black Scorpion. I love his work, absolutely awesome. But he has recently been working on some amazing Musketeer miniatures, which are just really, really fantastic. And I am working myself on a little independent RPG project. So I want to write an RPG, and I'm sort of just getting started with this, that is based on the works of Alexander Dumas as one of its major influences, with a load of other stuff as well. But I want to have a couple of miniatures around to represent the Musketeers in my world as I sort of work through these rules and sort of build out this game. And I really think that the Black Scorpion Musketeers will be perfect. So I'm probably going to aim to assemble a team of those if I can get there in time. I think one of those amazing Musketeers models is limited edition, so I might have to rush. But yes, that is a big target for me. I mean, as you can see, there are just countless different amazing companies here. Cubicle 7 are going to be there with all of the old world RPG and all of the Soulbound stuff and all of the Wrath and Glory stuff. I'm a big fan. I've done some work with Cubicle 7, so I'm really hoping that I'll be able to get down there to take a look at some of my work in the flesh, actually in the print, because they've now been published. So that is really cool. I'm very, very excited to that. It's always awesome at the Cubicle 7 booth as well. They've had demo games there before now, so I might try and play some RPG stuff there. There's a couple of other awesome RPG companies going as well. Of course, Chaosium were there. They had big stands in previous years, so that was really cool. Darrington Press are going to be there, so we might see some of their stuff. I'm quite interested in Daggerheart. I've never played it, but it looks interesting, and they are not the only RPG firms who are there. There's always a load of awesome independent RPG companies as well, which absolutely amazing, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Now, I have got on my bingo card to add some colour, and obviously, like I say, you can do this in any one of 1,000 ways. It doesn't have to be literally painting a miniature. It could be filling in a colouring book. I don't know. It could be loads of different things. There is the Duncan Rhodes actual painting masters. They've got their full Sir Coates Painting Masters event. I believe that will be taking place at UK Games Expo. Very excited to see that. Taking a look at all of the awesome stuff that they had in their display cabinets. It was one of the coolest parts of last year's event. So I'm really going to be eager to take a look. I don't think, I don't think it would be right for me at this time to enter the Painting Masters because I haven't painted anything specifically for it, and I'm not ridiculous enough to think that anything I paint could get anywhere in a painting competition. But I will admit that I've never actually entered one in my entire hobby life, and that's mostly because I'm a terrible painter. But part of me wonders if I might get inspired this year and go and see what they've got and potentially aim to enter something next year. I don't know. Maybe that's just, and that is, by the way, not with the expectation of winning anything, purely with just, wanting to experience having entered one. So definitely not this year. Maybe next year. I mean, honestly, look at these absolutely incredible things. Just really, really beautiful. Such a high standard. So many amazing entries. Yeah, it's definitely beyond me for the time being. To prove that it's not all about being competitive, I have got stuff on here like lose something. So you don't have to win everything. It's not about getting there and winning and just, being the most competitive person and fighting to win everything. It's more about playing and taking part, to be honest. But there is one on here that is very much about winning, and that is that I want to win the most rock, paper, scissors games across the entire event. So if you happen to be there, you happen to see me, and you're open to it, why not come over and challenge me to a game of rock, paper, scissors? We will have a little game. I'm going to be keeping track of how many games I win, and fingers crossed, I will be able to tick that box because I have won the most over the course of the entire 3-day event. But it's not all just about the vendors. I mean, like I say, there are absolutely loads of those. Part of it, I mean, I've taken a look through this entire list and I've kind of said, right, who do I want to go and see? There are loads of people that I want to go and see. But I also know that actually the biggest part of it is sort of wandering around and stumbling upon stuff that you didn't know existed before. So I think that is a really fun element of the entire thing. Oh, although Lucky Leaf Teas, I meant to go last year and get some actual tea. They have got a little thing that you can do on their website where you can test, you enter in some details and it will tell you what teas you might be best suited for. So I am going to make sure that I go and get some of their tea because it looks really cool. Artificer's Assistant came up as one of the ones for me, and there were a couple of others. So yeah, I'm eager to go and check out them. But what I was saying was, it's not just about the vendors. It is very much about just wandering around and just seeing stuff and enjoying stuff and kind of getting to just soak in the atmosphere of play and the community. I really love that about Games Expo. I think it's really, really fantastic. So, that is a big part of it. But then there's also, I mean, you can see here, Ontos Games, absolutely love them. You know, amazing Rocknaut miniatures, well worth checking out. Lots of other companies here I'm just eager to check out and see what they're up to, what their latest stuff is. Too many to mention, just loads and loads. But I did want to make sure everyone was aware as well of the actual events that they have during the UK Games Expo. Because as well as the actual sort of floor, there's a load of stuff that you can get tickets for and go and see. And that includes like seminars and talks and panels and that kind of stuff. There is, I mean, the actual UK Games Expo Awards, which I think takes place is like a part of the preview session. So I'm going to try and go to that on the Thursday before the main event starts, because that was really interesting last year to see who the winners were of the sort of the Critics' Choice Awards. But there's loads of other events as well. Absolutely loads. And you can check out on the website and go and see lots of different things. Loads of different games to sign up for. So if you want to pre-book RPGs, if you want to pre-book stuff, there's tournaments. I saw that there is a Batman Miniatures game tournament, which I used to play and really like. There is Bushido, which I think is cool. I think Warhammer is back at the UK Games Expo this time around for a tournament, which is amazing to see. So that will be cool. Hopefully I'll be able to wander around and see what those folks are up to. But then there's also a thing where you can, like, as a group, become the crew of a starship, and like you're on the bridge and you have to perform as in those roles, kind of like a live action role play escape room sort of thing, which is probably too intense for me during that event, but does look cool. I think the only like showing tickets they had left for that were like in the evening at like 11 o'clock, which is way too late, way too late for me, because it's a lot of, you know, lots of walking around, big days, lots of stuff going on. So there is a huge amount of stuff, but yeah, really excited by that. Oh, the Starship Simulator, yeah, that's what it's called. But there are other events. You can book in for board games. There's playtest areas where you can play games like that. I'm quite eager to go and see some of the shows this time around. So, as well as all of this, there are comedy shows and there are live panel shows and things of that nature. I'm a huge fan of Shut Up and Sit Down and Quinn's Quest. And I know that he's doing a few things. He's going to be playing in a Discworld live actual play. There is a panel show with the history of TTRPGs and things like that. I'm quite tempted to see if I can get some tickets to at least one of his shows to go along and see that, because I think he's really funny and really fun. I think that would be great. There's also a live play with Sir Ian Livingstone of one of his Fighting Fantasy books. So I think that sounds like it could be really awesome. With, I think, the comedian John Robertson. I think that's the right name. So yeah, there is loads of cool stuff that I think could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a version of Nightmare that's going to be played live. Yes, The Dark Room with John Robertson, and he's got a live session of his new gaming special stand-up, Quinn's Quest Play to Find Out Live, which sounds very fun. Loads of cool stuff here. I am very conscious. I don't want to just totally fill my entire weekend with like booked events. A huge part really is just walking around and experiencing it, meeting people, saying hello, having chats, and trying not to block aisles. But there is a lot of stuff I want to make sure I try and do this year. That's why I'm doing the bingo card, to try and force my hand a little bit. I don't want to just spend the entire time wandering around. I want to have a little bit more sort of like guided, objective-led adventures this time around. For that same reason, as much as I quite like the idea of these mega games, which are just like full, all-day long games with hundreds of players or tens of players, and you might be running an entire city or an entire colony or an entire war or whatever it might be, it can be amazing stuff. I mean, there is a murder mystery with 28 players, which sounds like it would be great fun. These things, for me, they take up so much time, and as much fun as that would be, kind of feels like too big an investment. I've got too much FOMO, so I don't want to commit myself too much to those, but they do sound very, very cool. So if I can just peek over and see how they're going, I might do that just to get a flavour, and maybe that's something for next year as well. One thing I'm quite excited about is that I have got on here to play a card game, and I'm hoping, I'm trying to organise something with someone very cool to actually get together and play the old Warhammer Fantasy card game, Warcry. So this was released in the early 2000s by Sabretooth, which was part of Games Workshop in the end. It is a really cool looking game. I have the starter sets. I've actually never played it, so I've had it sat here ready to go. I'm hoping to, well, I will be bringing these along, and I think we've got a game in the diary. If everything goes to plan, we'll get together in the open play area, and we're going to play some Warcry, and I think that's going to be fun, so I'm looking forward to that one a lot. So, I mean, really, there are just 100 different things that one could be doing at any given moment at the convention. I'm just a big fan of it. I think it's really fun to just go and see what's happening and speak to people and to try and sort of fathom your way through it. But the bingo card is going to give me a little bit more direction, so I'm quite excited about that. And if you would like to use the bingo card yourself, I have published it online. You can find it on my Instagram. You can find it on my Patreon, patreon.com/JordanSorcery. You can print it off for yourself and get on your own bingo adventure. As I say, it's all up to your interpretation. So if you want that little nudge, if you just want a little bit of fun, there's no real competitiveness to it. There's nothing to win. It's purely for yourself. But if you want one, check it out. It's there for you to use. I'm going to keep track of it. I'm going to be doing things like, I'm hoping to record a few things whilst I'm there. Potentially, I've got some amazing I actually got a new set of microphone mics for my lapel, and I got a new little tripod that folds out that's very cool. So my plan this year is to film a bit more as well and to try and capture more of my experience. I have done after action reports in the years past, but this time I want to kind of see how I get along. I'm going to report back on my bingo card. I'm going to tell you the stories about what went well and what didn't go well. And then as well as that, I'm going to talk you through how I interpreted the different things on the card whilst I was there in order to tick as many of them off. And fingers crossed I get all of them. I won't get any reward for completing them all other than knowing that I had a great time and I managed to just, fill my days with awesome stuff. So that is a very random little preview of my UK Games Expo. I don't know if I've imparted any actual information to you whatsoever, but if you want to check out the bingo card, it's available. I've put links in the description. If you want to know how I get on and whether or not I do manage to tick off all of the things on the bingo card, check back to the channel. I will also be, I'm sure, putting stuff out on social media, going back through my Patreon and sharing blogs and vlogs and travel stuff. That will all be there. And hopefully I will see you. Do say hello if you fancy it, if you're comfortable doing it and you want to come and see me. I will be happy to chat about anything with anyone, and we will be playing rock, paper, scissors if you're up for it, because I've got some targets to hit. That is my objective for UK Games Expo 2026. It's only a couple of weeks away. If you're going, I hope that you have a fantastic time. I hope that I have a fantastic time. I'm very optimistic that I will, and hopefully I'll see you there. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. I'm Jordan, and this is Jordan Sorcery.